Alright, so today we're talking a little bit about a lens that I used for my wildlife photography in the last month and a half, 2 months, and I told you about it. I didn't want to make a video instantly because I want to have at least, let's say, 5,000 to 8,000 photos on it to tell you my thoughts about this lens. And without further ado, this is the 180 to 600 f5.6 to 6.3 Nikon Z mount lens, and it's probably the best budget zoom lens that can reach 600 millimeters with no teleconverters on the market right now. Here is Videography here, welcome back to the channel, and I am very happy to see your faces, and I'm happy that you guys are here and subscribing to this channel. Please do more because we're slowing down a little bit, and I know it's the end of the year, but I'm sure that you guys will want to enjoy your holidays watching some crazo going outside in all kinds of conditions and chasing birds and wildlife. So if you like that and if you enjoy this channel, please do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up for others to be able to find them and for YouTube algorithm to push them up. So today we're talking about the 180 to 600 millimeters. This is a lens that I bought used in like new conditions from MPB. This is not a sponsor video or anything, though I would love MPB to sponsor this channel. We're not that big yet. This one, I bought it with my own money. I paid around $2,000 of it, and the prices are going up and they fluctuate a lot these days, especially because of the tariffs and everything that happens at the high level. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this lens. And to start with, I will tell you a few things about the build quality of this lens. Most of it's built out of metal. It's a combination of metal and plastic. And though it might feel a little bit flimsy for some, to me, it's a very, very solid build. By the way, this is not a review. I'm not trying to put this lens out there as a review. I'm trying to tell you my honest opinions about this lens and why you should avoid it or buy it. So, like I said, it's built out of a combination of metal and plastic. Everything feels pretty sturdy, pretty solid. It has a very short zoom throw that is very helpful, especially when you are on location and you need to move this. This is all it needs for you to go from 180 to 600 millimeters. Also, it has a manual focus ring that is very smooth and it works pretty well in some situations. It does have 4 customizable buttons that you can customize for whatever you want, autofocus, all kinds of autofocus modes. Also, you can use it for ISO or whatever you need to. So these 4 customizable buttons around are very useful for those who are using them. I am not using them. They're FN buttons, and I am not pretty used to holding the lens all the way down here. Maybe if they were here, would have been better for me because I could just, you know, move my thumb from zooming in out on the button. But right here, all the way to the top, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird and I'm not used to it yet. Maybe I will in the future. Now, the lens comes with a tripod foot that it's not Arca Swiss. I don't know what's going on with Nikon and Canon, and I think there are other brands like I think Sony as well. Guys, this is very important for all of us. The Arca Swiss plate on this one will also add weight to the lens, and it's a little bit cumbersome to hold because it has those sharp edges and it kind of digs in your palm when you're holding the lens. If you're holding it like me like this, it kind of digs in your palm, so it's not very comfortable to put an Arca Swiss. Why not just make this one an Arca Swiss? It's very easy. I would probably be able to do it in my shop just to cut the grooves here, but I won't do that because this is not wide enough. So I will probably probably, if I'm shooting tripod or monopod in the future or gimbal, I'll probably need to add an Arca Swiss plate or change the entire color and get an Arca Swiss compatible one. So this one doesn't have it, and I don't really like the way it moves. Like I said, you need to basically release the knob all the way down, and then there is no dampening, there is nothing here. Probably it's gonna create a little bit of a friction on the lens and damage the paint or whatever, the metal part here, but in time. But anyway, this is only a small gripe. Now the lens comes with two switches. One, it's the autofocus manual focus switch, and the other one is the focal limiter, the 3 meters to infinity and or the 6 meters to infinity and the full range. These are very important, especially the focus limiter, because if you shooting something that's close to you and the lens struggling to catch focus, which is not necessarily the case on this one, but if it does, you can instantly switch back to close focus, and the lens is gonna limits its focus distance and just search the focus in that distance that you gave it. Now that is with the build quality. To me, it's strong. It's like a tank. It has a little bit of a heft to it. I believe it's and you know what, I'm gonna tell you the specs because I know people like specs. So it's a full frame lens, and 180 to 600. It has a 4.27 inches minimum focus distance, which is great. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later for macro, and actually does 1 to 4 macro, so it's a pretty good close-up macro. It does have 25 elements in 17 groups, so it's a big chunky lens. It has 9 rounded aperture blades for beautiful bokeh, sometimes a little bit anion ringed, but to me it's still good. It does have image stabilization, and you can't switch it on off on the lens. You have to do it in camera using the software in the Nikon cameras, and the moment you put it on, you're gonna get that option there, so you can switch it from sport to regular to normal, and that's all you get. The lens weighs around 2 kilos, 1.95 kilograms or 4.3 pounds, and like I said, it has a little bit of a heft to it. It's not an I would say light lens compared to the 300 millimeter PF. This is a short lens, obviously. This is a 600 millimeter lens, but you can feel it, and I think most of it is with the tripod, and most manufacturers don't tell you how much the lens weighs with the lens hood and the tripod. Let's say the lens hood is not that big of a deal, probably 100 grams, if 150 grams, but the tripod foot usually weighs around 200-300 grams, depending on how big the lens is, and that adds up to the total weight. I think this is not a parfocal lens. I actually didn't try that because I didn't move focus what I was photographing or filming with it, so I'm not sure if it's a parfocal, but as far as I know, no, it's not a parfocal lens. The aperture is a 5.6-6.3 obviously, and goes all the way to f32. For some might sound a little bit dark, and it is dark. I am not able to go out in the morning, but I do sunsets, and you can feel a little bit of a downside when the ISO pops up over 3200, and that's not a big problem for, let's say, the Nikon Z8, but for the Z52 it is a little bit of a problem, and you lose a lot of detail on the high ISOs. I'm using the DxO Pure Raw, and I'm also using the Adobe enhancer that does the noise reduction and everything, but the image quality degrades the more you're getting in high ISO ranges, and I can say I am shocked to see that some of the images are not looking the way I was hoping for, because again, if I'm going over 6400 on this Z8, for me, and I'm saying for me, for other people it might be good, but over 6400 it's a little bit, it's a little bit noisy and you have to do a little bit of an aggressive noise reduction. This lens though, the prime, the 300mm f4, it's an f4 aperture, and it's pretty good in low light, and it's pretty good on managing the noise, and I really like it. But it's a short lens and I need to always put a teleconverter on. I do have the FTZ adapter. I don't know where the teleconverter is. It's around here probably, but yeah, so that's that. But back to the 180-600, this one also comes with this lens hood that it's pretty solid, pretty good. It's made out of plastic, but the good thing about it is that it locks in place. So you have a button right here to unlock it, and it locks in place. You unlock it, it locks in place, so it doesn't go anywhere. It's a good lens hood. The only problem with these large lens hoods is that sometimes, especially here in California, because of the heat, you get a phenomenon called the heat distortion, which means your images are not gonna look in focus. They're gonna look blurry because of the heat that hits the lens hood, inside of the lens hood, and builds up inside, and it creates heat waves going up, and that affects the autofocus, and not necessarily the autofocus, but the clarity of the image, the sharpness of the image. And I'm going to show you in a few videos how I edited my photos and how some of them are, though in focus, look like they are a little bit blurry because of that phenomenon. So that is with the lens hoods, but it's good to protect the front element, which as far as I remember is an 82mm or 70, I don't remember. I have no, let me see, 95. So it's a big chunk of a glass, and it's not good to, God forbid, scratch it or hit it into someone and crack it, because the repair will probably gonna cost you a fortune. So that is in terms of build and whatever the lens has. Now, in terms of sharpness, to me, and you probably will see photos from this point on, to me, this lens is sharp enough for any kind of wildlife photography, even printing on, let's say, high resolution prints and big prints. And I think that it's sharp enough. It is maybe a little bit less sharp than the 300 at f4, this one at f5.6, so the fully open aperture, and this one at f4. I think this one is a little bit sharper depending on the situation, but like I said, you have to be very careful with the heat distortion. You have to be very careful with the stabilization, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So it is a great lens, and sharp lens, very sharp lens. The image quality, it's Nikon. I love the image quality. I won't say anything about it because I really enjoy the way Nikon converts colors and the way it renders colors on their sensors, and this lens helps a lot with that, giving you beautifully vivid colors and sharp images. So I am happy in terms of sharpness. I can do a comparison between these two. If you want me, let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it to this point. So I can do a comparison and see the sharpness and the image quality, but I think they're very similar. This one might be a little bit sharper because it's a prime lens, and primes are always sharper. And that's another conversation for another video. So I'm happy with the sharpness. I'm happy with the color rendition in this lens. The elements are all coded, and you avoid glaring as much as possible. So you don't have to worry about having a little bit of a sun in your lens, not straight on, but probably from the side. You won't get that loss in contrast and that glaring and flaring. So it works good. Now for video, this lens, and I was talking about photography now, that's why I'm saying for video, this lens is probably the best lens as a wildlife videographer to have if you're shooting Nikon in your kit. It's well stabilized, and the stabilization is unbelievable. At 600mm, this lens stays still, and it's very still, even handheld. It's a great lens if you are going into wildlife videography and photography. But if you're a videographer, all the features on this lens, the smooth manual focus, the short throw on the zoom range, everything is doable for videography, and it's very sharp in 4K and 6K. That's what I tried on my Z8, also on the 4K on the Z52. The degradation of the image, it's almost non-existent. I didn't feel any degradation between the APS-C sensor and the full frame sensor, and that is a 20 megapixel sensor, so it kind of resolves, this lens resolved that sensor amazing, and you get sharp images, very punchy, 3D, whatever it's the, everybody talks about a 3D feel, as long as you have a close subject and not shooting miles away. The price of this lens is around $2,000. I would say because of the darker aperture, the 5.6 to 6.3, I think that this lens will be great if it would be around 1600. But I understand that everything, this is not an S lens, but I understand that everything that is in this lens is pretty high quality. The glass, the construction, everything they used, it's high quality, and somehow I understand why it costs a little bit more. And like I said, especially now with the tapes and everything, the prices went up a little bit. But if you're looking for one, you can try search for an used one and in good condition. Test it before, always, I'm always saying that, test it before at least 30 minutes and shoot, do all kinds of stuff, change autofocus modes and see how it reacts to that. Try everything to work, all the rings and all the buttons and everything. But it is a great lens, and this was my main lens in the last months and a half, 2 months, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah, that's it. Another good video that you can watch, and that basically tells you how this lens works, is this one right here.